All right, we're back. Steve Clements, how are you, man?
I'm good.
Good.
Better than I have been in months. So.
Yeah. So you've had a little back issues, and
I did.
You share whatever you want to share.
Lift with your legs and don't twist with something heavy.
Oh,
Okay.
Good sense. Is that kind of what got you in a jam?
That got me in a jam. And a shout out to the people up at Grand Ronde Hospital for taking care of me for an MRI.
Uh-huh.
And a bigger shout out to Dr. Christian Zimmerman over at St. Alphonsus in Boise.
Yeah.
A lot of people that are watching may actually have had this situation.
Yeah.
Zimmerman does a lot of back work on people from LeGrand.
Yeah.
And he took care of me on the 23rd, and I am virtually pain-free.
Yeah. So what did they do when they fixed that, or what did they do in your particular case?
In my particular, I had a herniated disc
Uh-huh.
in between the L4 and the L5 vertebrae,
Uh-huh.
and it was putting pressure on the nerve canal or channel that goes down your left leg and down all the way down to your big toe.
Huh.
And boy, it bit me hard. The procedure was called a microdiscectomy.
Huh.
Ectomy means they're cutting something away.
Okay.
So they make an incision about 1.5 inches, and then they go in with like a little camera and a little cutter, and he
Kind of
moves
trim
it,
stuff.
Yeah, kind of moves in there, and he cuts off a bit of the disc that's bulging, and then he sewed me up with dissolvable stitches and put a tape on my back to hold it together, and out the door. I had the procedure at about 7:38 in the morning, and I was on the road home from Boise by 3:30.
Wow, that's crazy.
I wasn't driving, just to be certain. They loaded me up with prescriptions for painkillers and muscle relaxants, and I never had to take a one.
Yeah.
He does, the work he does is so clean, no pain.
Yeah.
So I'm a happy man.
Well, where did the Egyptian go for back pain?
I have thought about that a lot.
Yeah.
Everything I read about herniated discs is that if you wait long enough, the herniation will actually pull back in and heal itself.
I was telling you a joke.
Oh.
Where did the Egyptian go for back pain?
No, I don't know, Kyle. Where
The
did
chiropractor.
I thought it was a joke at first, and then the way you responded, I thought,
Well, that's a good one, actually.
there's somebody that you know something I don't.
I don't know. I don't know,
I
Kyle.
thought we knew an Egyptian person that went to the doctor.
And I'm giving you a technical answer. That was brilliant. I really like that.
So,
I really like that. Okay.
So herniated means bulging a little bit, or squished, or what is that?
Well, normally, the discs between your vertebrae are cushy, and they've got like a kind of a callus around the outside. And in this case, it just
jutted out a little.
Yeah, just pushed out.
Huh.
And the soft inside of it just kind of, and it wasn't, I don't know what it looks like, but it just was enough to put pressure on that nerve. And golly, I mean, thinking about it, we were at council meeting last night.
Yeah.
There were 3 other people in that room
Yeah.
who had the same type of thing.
Must be fairly common.
It is, I recommend to people, of course, it's nice that I have insurance and it can cover that.
Right.
Because it was not an inexpensive procedure, but in my mind, if you can afford to do it and you have that kind of pain, it'll return your life to normal.
Yeah,
awesome.
Back pain is one of those things you just can't get away from.
No, you cannot.
I mean, if you have a limb that's sore or aching or whatever, you can put it up or isolate it, or, but it is hard to get it.
There was not one thing I could do that would alleviate the pain.
Yeah.
I slept in a recliner because that was the only position I could lay in.
Mm-hmm.
I could only sleep on my sides. If I had to lay on my back with my legs straight out, the pain was within seconds. The pain was so intense down my back, my left leg, I couldn't do it. Getting the MRI, that's why the radiologist up at Grand Run Hospital, I don't know her name, otherwise I'd give her direct credit. She was so compassionate and so gentle. To lay on my back flat for the MRI was like...
Oh yeah, that's right. You had to lay still for.
Yep.
Yep.
She was really, really good.
Yeah.
And you're in the little tube.
You're in the tube.
I don't have to get in the tube. I get open MRIs because of my height and my size.
Oh yeah, okay.
I don't fit in them tubes, thankfully, because that would not be fun.
Well, you put the earplugs in because it ding, 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 ding.
Yeah,
You know,
loud.
and I just close my eyes because if you open them once, the thing is right here.
Yeah, yeah.
You cannot be claustrophobic in an MRI.
The good thing about the open ones is they're still pretty close to you, but there's no side. Because that's my issue. My shoulders are way too wide.
Right.
And if I tried to get in one of those, I'd be like this.
So what do you do? You stand up and it just rotates?
No, you're still laying down. It's just open. Like it doesn't go completely around you.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, you still got it pretty close to you here, but there's not like sides to it.
Does the thing move?
It kind of does weird.
Yeah.
It does a bunch of weird motions to make up for the fact that it doesn't have.
Yeah.
sides.
Yeah. But I'm good now.
Good.
How about you?
We're good. We just got, you and I were talking about various topics offline,
Yes.
and we just got done with the Shrine Football, which is our biggest production event of the year.
Right,
and
calling the green is west and
Yeah.
red is east. And
that's not my department,
That's right.
but yeah, but no, that's I mean, we have a crew of 15 to do that game.
wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a gigantic.
Was that here at Communities?
They,
Okay.
They practice all week here.
Okay.
But the actual game is at Bulldog Stadium in
In Baker.
Baker. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, and they have, the town they have built a lot of their tradition and economy around that game.
Really?
Yeah.
So that's a state level game, I'm
Correct.
assuming.
Right.
And it's a high school level?
Yep.
So they take a group of players from the west side and they take a group of players from the east side. Who won? Sorry. I didn't
The
get...
West.
The West by 1 point.
Oh!
Yeah, it was a close game.
No,
right?
26-21.
Okay, 20. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry.
So, well, I mean, that's pretty cool. So they've always had this state level game in Baker City.
Yeah.
That's really...
For over 50 years.
Really?
It's been going on for 72 or 73 years, and it's been in Baker for over 50.
How did it end up being
That's-
26-21? I lost track of
I don't know. I don't remember.
Well, that's a good thing.
I think they went for 2 and didn't get 2. And,
Okay,
you know,
yeah,
I
okay,
mean,
yeah.
You don't really have a kicker in these games, so the scores are always wonky.
Yeah, okay.
Unless you got somebody that
No
can kick.
kicker. No.
So
For
you're
field
not going to
goals?
waste an all-star spot on a kicker, right? Most of these kids, the all-stars are the best athletes on their team, so
Right.
some of them can kick too,
Right.
usually. But you're not going to go, hey, I'm going to fill up one of my spots on this team
Gotcha.
with a kid that just kicks.
Yeah,
They
gotcha.
don't do that.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so they don't punt either. That's
No.
kind of thing. Yeah, so
So on a fourth down,
yeah, how do
it's a
they do
turnover
that? I
to
can't
the
remember.
other team?
It's yardage from, so on fourth down, if you say you want to punt,
Right.
it's a faux punt or a faux
Right,
punt.
yeah.
And they just take it a certain amount of yards. I think it's 40 yards away,
Right.
And then the other team gets the ball.
yeah.
Well, that's I learn something new every day.
Yeah, there's
That's
a
pretty
lot
good.
of times they go for it.
Yeah, see, I learned that when I was in the control room at the game.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, that's
no
I mean,
bunting, no kicking,
yeah,
no field
but,
goals.
but my, when we're in the truck, our attention is so far away from the mechanics of the game.
Yeah,
It's
I can
like,
imagine.
I mean, so
Well, then people who are watching don't understand the studio, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's fairly sophisticated. This is not your home camera setup. There's 3 cameras and
No,
there's
there's
light. 5, okay. Three that I can.
Actually, there's 6.
yeah. So go to the God shot, we call it again,
There's
Bennett, real
one.
quick. Yeah.
Yeah, we're on it right now.
Okay.
So there's one way up in the very corner. Yeah.
Okay.
And in this thing right in front of us, there's
There's 3.
There's
Right.
3 cameras here.
Yep.
and then
one over here.
one over there. That's yours.
Right.
Yeah. So anyhow,
Two over there.
Right.
yeah, there's
So
a lot
how many
to it.
cameras do you have when you do a football
We have
game?
6.
When you're doing a football game?
Yeah, but there's 4 operated. There's
Okay.
There's three in the stand, and then there's a rover
I was
camera
going to
guy
say
on the field.
you've got one that's mobile.
Yeah, and then just to get one pointed back toward the announcer, and then just a wide shot field camera.
Okay.
So
That's pretty technical. I mean, that takes. I mean, your focus has got to be on moving the shot from place to place and making sure the equipment is all functioning properly.
yeah, and we have instant replays and
Yeah.
commercials and
Graphics.
and
Right.
no, if everything goes well, it looks
Looks good.
very much like a commercial football game.
Right.
Yeah.
Is it available on your site to look
Yeah,
at?
yeah.
You know, I might have to pop in there and just look at.
I'll tell you what was interesting is that we had some streaming problems. The company that we use Vimeo, and that's
Yeah.
the platform that this is on right now. And Vimeo is, they're reliable about 99.9% of the time, but when they're not, they're not accountable. They never tell you what went wrong or why something is wrong or no, it won't happen again. I mean, there's just nothing, and we had an incident like a week before the game.
Oh.
Like that. And so then I'm thinking, oh man, we need a fallback. So I put into place kind of an online, a cloud switch. So then if in the middle of the game there was a problem, I could switch from one provider to another.
Oh.
Well, problem is the provider of that switch had problems.
Oh.
Yeah. And so
What are the odds of that, my friend?
yeah. So we get about 5 minutes into the game, and it's super sketchy. I mean, on our end, everything looks good, but of course, as we monitor Facebook and all of the outlets,
Right.
it's jerky and pixely and a mess.
You're not hardwired into the internet there, is it?
Yes.
You are, okay.
Yeah.
And we have backup.
And we have a
Okay.
backup.
It was
yeah.
definitely not an internet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we knew that it was them.
Oh.
So, but in a game like this, you have control. We have a red hat, and so I just radioed the red hat and go, we need a TV timeout, and they held the game for 5 minutes,
Which is unheard of, though,
Yeah.
too. I mean, that doesn't ever happen.
No. Yeah.
You mean
I
on
couldn't
actual
believe it.
play on the field
Yeah.
stopped? for
Well,
5
we have control.
that's a lot of control.
Well, see, in a game like what we're doing, like if you, so the timeouts on the field are about a minute. Now, if you go to a college game, they have regular TV timeouts.
Yeah.
And and they have this gigantic. We went to a Boise, Wyoming game, and when they would have a break, you knew it was a TV timeout because there was this big clock, and it was 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
Yep.
And they'd put it out on the field, and everybody knew that the game was paused until they were ready to come. Anyhow,
Yeah.
so in our case, if they do a 1 minute timeout and we play 2 30-second commercials, we can almost get it in. Right. But the announcers, as they're going to a break, they might take 5 or 10 seconds,
Right.
And as they're coming back in. And so we really need about a minute and 15 seconds or a minute and 20 seconds to get to, yeah.
Right,
so then we have a red hat, and and this is just routine.
Right.
So then, and I'm the one that's communicating with the red hat, and like, okay, we're gonna take a break.
Yep.
Just hold the game until I tell you, and then as soon as I have a countdown, then I give him a countdown.
Right, right.
So anyhow.
Right.
So yeah, I had to just say like, hey, because we probably had as many people watching online as what there was in the stands.
Well, yeah. This
Yeah.
particularly people on the west
Yeah.
side who can't travel or even here that are pretty
And
remote.
and the comments you just should have seen were just boiling in on Facebook.
The thing is, though,
Yeah.
like on real TV, there's more people watching
Right.
on TV,
Right.
but they would never do
They'd
that.
never
They
pause
just
it.
black the screen out.
Yeah.
The game would never stop. Like I
Yeah.
couldn't even believe it. I almost fell out of my chair. I was announcing. I'm like, they're holding this game for like I don't know if
stream.
I was the referee. I don't know if I would have done it. I would have probably just said we're playing football.
You get some power there, man.
was
You got some
crazy.
power.
No, it was, and I don't know I don't know what was going on with the crowd, but I didn't hear anything later about like, what did you guys do? I mean, they were like,
Oh, so it's just a delay and
well, and we had communication with the house guy too,
Oh.
you know, and so I told both the Red Hat, hey, can you hold the game for a bit? Told the guy and the PA, like, hey, we're having some tech difficulties.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And so
right.
anyhow,
Right. Interesting.
it was a funny, but I was like, in that 5 minutes, I can tell you, I was sweating bullets.
I bet
was.
you were.
Yeah.
So I'm going to kind of wrap around back
Yeah.
to something else we talked about because I think it's interesting. This is pretty technical stuff. And when before the show started, we were chatting about how you got going
Yeah.
with a camera and a computer in a back bedroom in your house.
Yeah.
And you have put together a fairly successful business around that starting point.
Yeah.
I think that's highly amiable, really, really very cool. And along the way, did you just learn all this stuff as you needed to?
Well, no. So I was, so when I was, after I graduated from college, or while I was in college, I worked for a media center
oh yeah,
at the college. And
Okay.
so I was the gib,
Yeah.
gib up here. I was the gib. I mean, and so then every classroom, all of the sports, all
Right.
of the activities. I mean, this was the early days of multi-camera stuff, and I had a boss who would buy equipment ahead of my interests.
Oh.
So he could see that, like, oh, we need another camera so we can put them together.
Right.
And yeah. So
right.
and then after school, after college, then I taught audio, video recording, and photography,
Right,
black and
okay.
white and color photography. Did that for 4 years in
Okay.
total. Yeah, and then I also worked for a production company in Kansas City.
Oh.
Did that for 4 years.
Okay.
Traveled internationally as a photographer.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I went into another career for a long time. So when I started this, you know, I mean, I'm kind of geeky and I'm a gear guy.
Yeah.
That's how they classify
yeah.
people like me.
I can
Yeah.
relate to that.
And so I had been following technology, but when we started the business, I didn't own a camera, not a single one. And it was right at high definition was just coming in. Yeah. And so when we invested in high definition.
Yes.
You know,
That makes sense.
And even to have a computer that you had cameras that could capture it. That's
Yeah, but
first.
computers didn't catch up to that for a
No,
while.
the computers couldn't handle it.
Right.
Yeah, and so
And storage and speed and all of
yeah,
that.
yeah. So anyhow, so then that's kind of. I tell you what's kind of interesting. There was, so I grew up in a small business family, and so I knew how to hustle. I knew how to work
Right,
hard, and so
right.
on and so forth. And I got laid off. This is in 2009, and we got a loan and was going to start the business. And bought a camera. Bought actually 2 cameras because my whole thought was I was going to do weddings, and
Right.
that was going to be the moneymaker for
Yeah,
me.
yeah,
You know? Yeah.
yeah.
And so, but you know, the kind of the pinnacle thing was I was on unemployment. I had applied for every job that I could. I'd gotten laid off, and so I was on unemployment. Well, what I discovered was my unemployment was ready to run out. And again, it's like, wow, man, what are we going to do? How are we going to make ends meet? Or how am I going to pay for this adventure? You know?
Right, right.
And I found out Workforce Oregon at that time had a program to where if you did a business plan and submitted it and jumped through all the hoops, that they would let you stay on unemployment while you started your business.
Oh.
Not for
Right,
I mean,
right,
it was
right.
like
Give
it
you
was
sort
like
of
a
a
4 or 5 month period.
Yeah,
of time.
sort of a safety net type
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. And man, that was just the crux. It was like it was just enough
Tough to carry you.
to keep going. And,
Yeah.
And
Good,
so
good story.
but that was I had never done a business plan. I mean, and
Right, and it's important to do one. If
it
you're
is, and it's brutal.
It's not easy, which kind of segues, if I can,
Yeah.
to a city council meeting last
Yeah.
night. They talked about the city accepting a block grant, which they've done several times in the past,
Yeah.
to host training programs for people interested in starting a business, entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
And I know they've done it several times, but they've particularly target low and moderate income people.
Yeah.
So I'm giving a shout out. I suspect that this is a done deal.
Yeah.
And you take if you're interested in doing business,
Yeah.
right? Make sure you touch base with your local economic development directors or Workforce Oregon or whatnot.
Yeah.
Because there's all sorts of opportunities out there for small businesses to get the leg up,
Yeah.
which I think is pretty exciting. And it's nice that you got advantage of that.
Well, I tell you, I didn't really know what I was doing. I mean, I knew the tech side. I knew I had a passion, and I knew where I wanted it to go,
Right.
and stuff. But whether it wasn't until I did the business plan that I really okay, how am I going to make money?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a whole nother thing to okay,
Yeah.
I really like doing this, and how cool it would be if people paid me to do it.
Right.
But
Right. Do you remember Christine Jarsky? She
Yeah.
was our economic
Yep.
development. When she was working for the city, and there were a number of years that I was still teaching up at EOU, and I had the intro to business class. And I would bring her in every term, and she'd talk about the importance of a business plan. Because right at the beginning, because the intro to business was this sort of throw everything about a business at a student. And boy, she just drilled it into their heads. Yeah, if you're going to start a business, have that plan.
Well, and it at first it was super vague, and I didn't know for sure what that meant. But when it comes right down to it, it's not much different than doing your own budget at home. It's like, okay, what is my rent? What's my cell phone? What are my expenses?
Yep.
If I have equipment, what's that loan payment going to be?
Right.
And you come with that. This is what I need every month.
Right.
And then, what jobs do you think that you can get that's going to give you that amount of money?
Right.
Every month.
Right.
I mean, and that process all of a sudden makes things super real.
Right.
Oh,
me
man.
because it puts down in front of you what you have to, how much hustle you have to have.
Right.
Right. Question for you now is, you thought weddings were going to be your big money maker, without revealing the business secrets. I think you mentioned winter being good for you, but is there any one particular activity that?
No, winter is not good for us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought
No, and so, along the way, there's a couple of things that I've figured out is that I tend to be ahead. I tend to be ahead of time. I mean, so something that I think is going to be real current is going to be work, is like, oh, this is going to be awesome. 2 years later, that's when it's awesome. But part of that is LeGrand. Part of that is Eastern Oregon, know. And so for instance, I thought social media advertising, 3, 4, 5 years ago, I thought that was going to be a huge deal. It's a huge deal now. Now but trying to help businesses understand how big it was going to be, they didn't, I was just ahead of the curve. So anyhow,
right.
So,
but that's a good entrepreneurial skill to have.
Well, as long as you know.
Yes.
As long as you know that you're ahead of the curve, mean, I would think that something would be super relevant, and I would get frustrated because people wouldn't understand how relevant that is.
Yes.
And then, so it's taken me a while to figure out that I'm a little bit further ahead than what it happens on the ground. Anyhow, so we started weddings. And weddings are people who do weddings are a special breed of people, and I mean that because it's a lot of pressure. You only get one shot.
Yeah.
It's a life event.
Yeah.
And
you better be halfway decent, otherwise you're not going to get a reputation.
People's expectations are super high.
Yes.
And so
clients,
right, and understandably so. And this is only increased in the last 15 years. Now, so I mean, I did the last big wedding that I did for my stepdaughter, and and we threw a lot at that. But what I found is that for us to do a wedding at the level that I want, it's going to be expensive, and not very many people in Eastern Oregon really want to.
Right.
They really have that kind
It's
of
not.
budget.
It doesn't have the market niche for that
Yeah,
here.
yeah. Now, real quick little sidebar story. Okay, so
Yeah.
my daughter Michaela does weddings,
Okay.
does luxury wedding invitations. Okay, so she told me about a wedding that happened not too long ago, and they spent $180,000 on flowers alone.
Sorry, I got my mouth open.
Yeah.
That's a luxury wedding.
Well, I mean, she did her, she does the paper products and
Right.
and a lot of that stuff. But there are people, not here, but there are people out there that spend, they'll spend $500,000, $1 million on
Now,
a
isn't
wedding.
it tradition for the
The
wife,
brides.
the bride's family to pay
Yeah,
for that
yeah,
type of thing?
yeah.
I'm sure glad I have a son.
Anyhow, so it just wasn't really much of a moneymaker
Right,
at the
right.
end of the day,
But you have
and-
enough, you got feelers out there in different areas.
Yeah.
I know we hired you for the sound system at the Friends of Lad Marsh annual bird festival, and that was the best sound system that we'd had in a long time.
Well, and what's happened over a period of time is, and this kind of comes back to my AV days at the university, at college. There's a lot of needs like that.
Yes.
There's a lot of just somebody needs to set up a projector, and it needs to be good, and
Yes.
it needs to be, and yes, people can do that themselves, but I can't tell you the number of times that there'll be an event and the sound is not great,
Right.
or the sound is,
And it makes a difference in the event, and it makes it, it edges up the event quality by a or reduces it by a quality by a noticeable amount.
Yeah.
And the previous year we struggled with the sound system being loud enough. We had we had a compounded by someone who was speaking very softly. But this year, the wireless mic, the sound, the quality of the sound, it was fantastic, and was really reasonably priced. So I don't know how you got away with that.
Well, I tell you just a funny little story. So we became a member of the Baker City Chamber of Commerce. So
okay.
And if you're out there in Baker City, we're going to be in your neighborhood more in the sense of that we're going to be interviewing people from Baker City and involved in Baker City stuff.
Cool.
Is going to be more on this show. Anyhow, so went to the Baker Chamber of Commerce thing, and not many. I mean, some people know me over there, but not a huge amount, And
right.
so, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm just going to go. This is great. I'm just going to go to an event. I'm not involved in any of the tech. I don't have to worry about anything.
Right. Right.
So,
right.
and I get there, and they're having troubles with their sound system. And I mean, and they get ready to present the awards, and this is a fairly sizable room.
Don't go there, Brent.
And you can't hear anybody. Oh. And so I turned to somebody next to me, and I was like, "How long do you think the program's going to be on?" And at first he thought I was like wanting to get out of there. He is the one guy I knew that was there. He goes, "Oh, I don't know, probably 20, 25 minutes, And I said, "Well, I have a portable sound system in the car.
Oh, nice.
Do you think that?"
Nice.
And 3 tables went. They overheard me.
Yeah.
So in the middle of the event, I have a little battery operated system that I use actually for LeGrand Rotary.
Right.
And so I mean, they're going on. I bring in the speaker, and I mean, I just presume. And anyhow, it was.
And you stepped in, and all of a sudden you expanded your market area from LeGrand to Baker City, dude.
It was nice. Christopher Hobson, if you're out there and you see this, he gave threw me a credit, and
Nice.
and it was appreciation and stuff.
Yes.
But still, it's those. Just the point of that is that it happens all the time.
Right, and for people in Baker City or elsewhere in Northeast Oregon, this is the guy. Honestly, Brent, you do really high quality stuff. The sound system that we borrowed, the show, for instance, you can't go wrong with working with Brent. And but there's the other thing that's critical. I think he's just a great guy. I've known you for a bunch of years, and it just gets better and better to, hang out and chat with you, but also to get to know you more. Your story about starting up the business was just brilliant.
Yeah.
So.
Well, thank you. I think I just care.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing for me is that I'm constantly, and so then when I don't get good customer service, I get frustrated sometimes.
Yes.
Because it's important for me to get what it is that I'm giving to others,
Right.
And so then when I'm involved in solving a problem for a customer, whatever it might be, I'm constantly thinking about how would I want to be served.
Yeah, and I'm just thinking about that now. I bet that's the way you operate, and you operate it because it makes you feel good.
Yeah.
It's not and so it's like this snowball effect. If I do good work, it makes me feel good, so I'm just going to keep doing good work. And that's a great personality trait.
The but is, but sometimes you end up, you work really hard and people don't even know what you did for them.
Yeah,
it's
all kind of behind the scenes,
yeah,
dude.
because it's like you don't notice a sound man until he does something wrong. It squawks or you can't hear,
Yes.
If you go to an event and everything technically is, and you didn't notice the lights not being on, or you didn't notice the sound, or you didn't, then, yeah. So it's just kind of in the nature of stuff.
Yeah, but it's the behind the scenes that are important, and you don't mind doing that, but you do it so well.
Yeah, thank you.
That it feeds your personality. I think that's really cool.
Well, and going back to the business aspect of it, another key point was when we started doing the city council meetings for LeGrand.
Yes.
And at first it was recording them. From the very beginning, they have always been recorded and broadcasted on Spectrum.
Right.
At the time it was Charter, and so on and so forth.
And that was at cable, public channel access.
Yeah, and so, and then recorded them so that for the record and so on and so forth. But that contract and other contracts like that, and that monthly income,
Yeah.
I didn't realize it at the time. It's meat and potatoes stuff.
Yeah.
But it creates, for any business, it creates this base
Yeah.
of like, okay, I can pay insurance, I can pay the rent, I can pay the cell phone bill, I can pay, And so then whatever that stuff is that accumulates, it might not be very exciting.
Right.
But it happens every month and it's regular.
Right.
And it kind of builds this
Yes.
base for
Yeah.
the fun fluff stuff.
Right.
You can't do the fun fluff stuff if you don't have
that
some
base.
kind of a
and I could see that being pretty critical
Yeah.
for a service-based business like this
Yeah.
versus a merchandise-based
Yeah.
business. If you got to just sell so many boxes of cereal if you're Safeway.
Yeah.
Right. For you, having some set contracts gives you that base, that foundation of known income.
Right.
And unfortunately, you probably got a handful or so of them that really work well for you.
Well, and that, there's this vast difference between somebody who has a commercial space
Yeah.
or somebody who is working out of a spare bedroom.
Right.
And I've done both.
Right.
Right. And if you have a home-based business and you still have a job, you have another job and you're just doing this on the side,
Yes.
then
You've got that base.
you've
got that foundation.
and you can do it occasionally. You can have fun with it and make money for a bit, and then the ups and downs doesn't bother you because you have some kind of a
you
regular
got that.
thing.
You got that something that net
Yeah.
below you.
Yeah. So
Yeah. Interesting conversation about business and
Yeah.
your background. I appreciate that.
the other thing one more thing that I really appreciated is people, genuine entrepreneurs, that just start something from nothing.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that's what I was until I got into it a little bit.
Right.
And and
I admire that too for this reason, that I don't have that kind of personality.
yeah.
I've never been particularly creative with something. I think I'm a reasonable problem solver, but I can never get my mind around something that could be more
Yeah.
and could make a living. So I really appreciate that piece of it.
Well, and what I learned when I served on the Grand Main Street Board downtown and Chamber of Commerce and
Right.
so on and so forth is we need the voices of genuine entrepreneurs, because for somebody who has not experienced that and they don't understand it, it's just very difficult for them to understand.
Yes.
And when I would sit on the boards with people who had a regular job and they had regular income, there was just no way that they could understand the risk that an entrepreneur was taking.
Yes.
Yeah, and
Yes.
so which kind of comes back to those grants,
Right.
Those particular, yeah,
Right, and in those grants, and I think that's a really important role of government.
Yeah.
And government resources is to lessen some of the risk that businesses and entrepreneurs take on, and it lessens it. It gives them just enough that they can, that they can put their own effort into it and succeed,
Yeah.
or make something happen,
Yeah.
without risking everything or losing their
Right.
losing that foundation in which they have a backup. So yeah, government gets involved to the point of reducing the risk of and making it acceptable for people to take on the entrepreneurial role. So I appreciate that too.
Yeah, well, and the biggest entrepreneurs in the valley are the ones that have that 20 square miles of farmland out there,
You
whatever that might
bet.
be.
I
Yeah.
don't know if I ever told you, I worked for Extension Service years ago, early 90s, about 92 to 98. I gained an incredible admiration for the agricultural community in this
Yeah.
valley and what it does and the risks it takes and the innovative and changeable nature of those people, and
Right.
how they'll look at something and go, oh, remember when mint was big?
Yeah.
Like we had mint everywhere, and they grabbed that market and they ran and they shook it.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden the mint market dropped down, and now you see sunflowers out there.
Yeah.
And so, entrepreneurs at the heart.
No, yeah, and I don't, I grew up around agriculture and ranching in Wyoming,
Yeah.
but not to the depth of what I have learned, And last night in the council meeting, I mentioned, that as a business owner, when somebody points out inefficiencies in our business or whatever the case may be, and you do know this is all I do. This is all I think about. And those farmers are the same way. When they're at night and it's dark and they're in front of the TV or whatever they're doing to chill and relax a little bit, all they're thinking about is, what am I going to grow next year? Is it going to yield better?
Yes.
What am I going to do in this field that I didn't do?
Yeah.
It's all they're thinking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and your business is successful because I suspect that you spend a bit of time when you're watching the TV, thinking about the different aspects of your business and how you're going to either grow it or reduce it, or
Yeah.
what new equipment do I need. I don't know whether it was in the context of this, but you said, hey, I'm looking out 2 years.
Yeah.
And if you're not, the farmer's looking out next season, you're looking out 2 years because technology is
Yeah.
that way. That's the sign of a good business manager and a good business owner and an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And I really, I've said this several times. I really admire that because I don't have that. I can solve problems and I can work like the devil when I need to, but I it's just one of those things I don't do well. And many things that I don't do well.
So I have to give credit to Tanya, my wife, also, because she is not an entrepreneur. This is, she wanted me to be happy, and so she encouraged me to do this and so on and so
Yeah.
forth. But her taking risks is not, that's not her thing.
Right.
I mean, that's not. But so, and again, so we started the business as a sole proprietor, and then somewhere along the line we organized as a LLC.
Yeah.
You know, and in that point, then she and I became 50-50 partners.
Yeah.
Okay. And so she works a full-time job. And so, which is part of that base.
Yes.
Gives us
Yes.
part of that base. And so, but she's here almost every day looking at the books and looking on why I spent what I spent and did I really need to. And
Right.
looking, I mean, she's the one that's like, okay, it's the 15th of the month,
These are
payroll.
Right.
Payroll is in 10 days. What do we have coming in? What's your plan? What are you, I mean,
Yeah.
and, I mean, and she's
And the mechanics are just as important as the forethought and the technological ability.
Yeah,
You
right.
know, that back room
Yeah.
stuff, that behind the scenes stuff that helps a business survive and prosper like that.
Yeah.
You know, because if somebody wasn't watching the beans, the jar might empty
well,
out.
I describe Tanya's personality in that she's quiet until she's not.
I'm not going to go any deeper than that, there, Brett.
Yeah.
But thank you, Tanya, because you know you got the guy's back, and that's good.
Yeah. So that's anyhow.
Yeah.
No. So, well, let's talk about economic development for we got just a little bit more time.
Okay.
Yeah. That is such a vague, mushy.
I can't tell you how many times I got into trouble just because of that sort of definition, vague, mushy. What is
Yeah.
economic development?
Well, and I mean, as Timothy Bishop last night was talking about these grants and the lingo, and it's the lingo that economic development people use.
Yeah.
We're collaborating and it's leveraging and it's, I mean, and
Yep.
all of it, and not any, like I said, it's all economic development people use those terms.
Right.
But at the end of the day, it's a job that I would never want because you there's a lot of work and you have an occasional win.
Right.
And
It is. I mean, how many times has Timothy and before him Christine Jarsky? How many times have we sent them out into the hinterlands to market shows? And with the hope of selling our location.
well, and
And
you were the mayor, so you knew that she was being sent out.
yes,
The public, they have no idea. I mean,
Right.
they maybe look at, well, what is the budget for economic development, and I have no idea what it is, but it's like, what are we spending $500,000 on? What
Right.
is that even?
Right.
How is that making a difference in our community?
Right. And sometimes the difference, sometimes the difference is not something we see
right,
when we're looking at a pinhole of one project.
right,
Right?
exactly.
And if we look at that one project and we don't understand or even give consideration to the peripheral effects of that project,
Yeah,
which are also economic development,
yeah,
you lose the value of that one project.
right, yeah.
I studied economics for a while, but that was the theoretical stuff, and the application of it and the real world example is much bigger and broader. That one project can lead to another, can lead to another, can lead to another, and you may not, because you're so focused on that one project, either politically or professionally or personally, you don't see
Right.
the ripple effect, right?
Yeah, well, and I kind of think of it, and there's a lot of it in businesses like this. It's like you're trying to push a whole bunch of rocks off a cliff, and every day you go to a different rock and you move it forward a little bit more, and you go to another one and you rock, and you move it, and all of these things are being, and occasionally one go off the cliff, and there's like,
Yeah.
and So, but what the public sees is just that
Yeah.
one success. They don't see all of that work.
Right.
You know? And
And that's, but I think that is, that's the nature of the beast.
yeah.
You know, when we were talking before the show started, I said, you know, there are things about the council that I miss,
Yeah.
and that's being in the know.
Yeah.
And oftentimes, if you're a casual reader of the newspaper or casual watcher of EO Alive, or anything else, you can miss the big picture.
Mm-hmm.
And you can if you don't every once in a while get that bigger picture because you're missing one key piece of information.
Yeah.
It really puts you at a loss.
Yeah.
And it puts you behind what's really going on out there. We sometimes get criticized about the urban renewal district and what it does, but in the big scheme of things, it's been a real boon to our downtown and to the district itself, and ultimately to the community. So.
Yeah. Well, and there's a whole bunch of little rocks.
Yeah.
The urban renewal district is only one part. I mean, you have LeGrand Main Street grants
Yes.
that come in. You have this block money I mean,
Yes.
so all of these people that have their economic development eyes on are looking for funds
Yes.
that are out there for that we can apply for or get money for
Yeah.
or whatever it is. And so all of that cash, all of those grants, it makes a difference.
Yes, it does.
You know, and I mean, while I was on the LeGrand Main Street, I mean, I think that there was over nearly $800,000 that over a period of time came into different buildings
Yep.
to help them,
And-
revitalize
Hence,
themselves.
hence that little leverage term.
Yeah.
$800,000
Right,
turns
right.
into
Right.
$1,600,000.
Yeah,
Or
right.
more,
Right.
because a business owner or a property owner receives this money, and they oftentimes have to match it or
Yeah.
double it, triple it, and so the implications for any one of those little sources of money,
Yeah.
it just builds up and it ripples out and it grows.
I'll tell you one thing, one thing I did say beforehand is that if I was doing a big project and I had the funds, I'm not sure that I would go for $75,000 from the city in
Right.
economic renewal money.
Right.
Okay, whatever it might be. And I think we saw that a little bit with the bowling alley.
Yes.
Okay. So I think the bowling alley got $75K somewhere along the way, something like that.
Yeah, I don't remember. I think they might have gotten a couple of them.
Okay. But the project was, I don't know, over a $2 million project.
Right. But look at it now. You can't get a lane.
No, right. But
It's just good for them.
Right. But the point. I mean, it took them a while to get opened up.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, the public was like, "Well, what are they doing with that money?"
Right.
And, I mean, they took a lot of heat
Yes.
for not opening as quickly as what everybody might have wanted.
Right.
Well,
Well, the city took a lot of heat as well.
Right.
Because what are you giving them money for? They're not open yet.
Right. But I guess I'm just, if I were in a, if I were funding a $2 million project, I think I'd look for $150K somewhere else that didn't quite come up with so much criticism.
Right.
Is the bottom line.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Because when you take money from the public, you're in the public eye.
Right.
Right. And not every business wants that, or maybe even should have that. But
Right.
I mean, at some time, are you willing to take that public scrutiny for the money that you're receiving? And,
Right.
And
Well, and I think we've seen that in other projects too, where there's been a significant amount of money. I mean, I'm thinking of the underground. The
Yes.
amount of money that was invested in that building and so on, and then they had a very small percentage of their entire expense came through economic development.
Right.
And again, but it was it took a while for that to develop and get spent. And
Right.
I don't know. I've just seen that. I have seen that trend happen a couple of different times.
It's unfortunate, I
Yeah.
think, and I mean, I'm guilty for the criticism myself.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll admit that piece of it. But part of that, I think, part of that perspective is again not having a fuller picture
Right.
of the implications of a project that you're investing in or that the community is investing in.
Yeah.
And once, I can't tell you how many times that there'll be one or two pieces of information that become available to me that completely change my perspective on something.
Yeah.
And so having, I guess the upshot of this is don't be too critical of something until you've explored it a little bit further and
Yeah.
understand the fuller elements of it. And running a business, local community projects, the ripple effects of doing those that
Yeah.
I mean are unbelievable and justifiable. So.
Well, and we got to quit, but the measure of, let's take like the bowling alley, the measure of impact. I mean, now it's like we're used to it.
Yeah.
It's old news.
Yeah.
It's like, you know.
And it's so successful that
Right.
people are happy.
Right, but when you go into that place and you look at it and you go, wow,
Wow.
somebody did this.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you look at the ceilings, you look at the textures and the lanes, and you look at, it's like somebody did this because they had a passion to do
Yeah.
it. But the impact that business has and others have made on LeGrand, even over the last 10 years, is, I mean, LeGrand looks differently. I mean, you
Yes,
you
it
can
does.
look at the stats and go, well, the population hasn't changed, or we're this or that. I mean, it's easy to look at, but it feels a lot differently than it did 10 years
It
ago.
feels vital. It
Yeah.
feels vibrant. It feels like it's not, for a small town in Eastern Oregon, it's not losing steam at all.
No, I mean, and even though the store is closed, I mean, this store, this store, and the underground, and the print press, the press room, and
room, yeah.
Evermind Press,
Yeah.
and the bowling alley,
Yeah.
and
There's a number of
the Chachis Corner, the white, you know what I'm talking about,
the
local,
landing and the
Yeah,
the ice cream place.
yeah, I mean.
We've got some great anchor businesses.
Right. All of those are individuals who have just
Right.
they've dug in their heels and groups of people, and they've invested
And
locally.
done something that personally they would gain from that has had huge implications for the community.
Well, and sometimes they're not gaining. I
No.
mean, I can tell you, like, I mean, the Williamsons that own Evermind Press, and
Right?
I mean, those people have invested more in that building than they will ever get back.
I know, but look, I really admire what they've done.
Absolutely.
I mean,
No.
they took a building that had a kind of a nasty facade and brought it back to its
Well,
original.
and Burgoyne's that have the corner building, that have the cloud
Yes,
gifts, and
yes,
yeah,
and,
I mean,
repointed the brick and turned it.
people that just have a passion for
A vision.
taking an old building and fixing it up.
Yeah, I mean, I love what they did on that corner
Yeah.
thing, and then looks like they've either got some short-term rentals or
Yeah,
they've got
yeah.
housing right there.
But again, I can tell you, they've invested way more money than they will ever get back, just because they have a passion for doing nice things.
Yes, I hope they get the money back.
I do too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, hey, Steve,
Hey,
thank
we
you,
just
man.
chewed up 40 minutes of
Yeah.
time, which is I like doing that.
Yeah, thanks. Well, I'm glad you're back and glad you're feeling better.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for jumping in.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah,